All right, I'll get this thing started here.
Yeah, let's get the ball rolling.
Yeah, I think I got it. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Real radio's glowing in the dark. Trying to, anyway. We started here in just a moment.
Go or no go for liftoff.
I think go is a good thing. Let me see if I could get the jingle singers on the same page here.
On your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
I guess that's what radio is all about, RADIO. I hope a lot of you have been working on your RADIO this week, trying to make contacts when possible. I've just been listening and hearing that the bands haven't been too great of late. SWL2 saying they're still looking at 0 sunspots, but the general consensus is that we are definitely in cycle 25, and it has only one way to go but up. All right, now, I want to make sure that all the stream audio is up and running here. And I think we are good, so let me jump into the control room. Hey, there we are. I am headed back to the 1970s again. The COVID hair, it just doesn't work with anything else. So I've got my best. Who is that kind of dead guy on in the Rolling Stones? I've got my best look going on tonight, and hopefully we will be checking in some radios here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Channel 11 is where we are at. If you want to try and get us on an SDR or over your old tube radio or your new tube radio, perhaps on the RF zone if the E-skip will open up, 27085. Our position for Saturday evenings here at 8 p.m. Pacific time for the last 35 years or so, talking about and with your tube radios and, of course, the shortwave listeners. And that's what we'll start out with at the top of the net here. Let me get the SWL chart set up. It looks like that, and we're looking for SWL 00. Over.
Very good, Dennis. 00, checking in.
All right, and likewise, I noticed my noise level is down a little bit tonight, so I hope that's not an indication that I've got some antenna issues going on, but you sound fine, so I'll take it that the band is in good shape.
You sound good out here, Dennis. You have no problem.
All right, thanks. Good deal. 00 is checked in. SWL number 1. The Cosmic check-in is there. SWL number 2, Mr. OBP, who has been looking and searching, and I think he's going to go up and seed the clouds and maybe try and grab us a few more sunspots. But we'll see what happens here. Also making sure that the video stream is up and running. I think it is. Let me get a confirmation here. Yeah, it looks like it's happening, so good deal. Next, we've got SWL number 3. SWL number 4. Shortwave listener number 5, I saw Ida this week. She's looking good, and she says hello to everybody, old tube radio operators and SWLs. SWL number 6. SWL number 7. I've got a proxy for Mr. Ed, and we're hoping to turn that into an X in the square with the report of pockets full of cash when he returns. And OBP says he's got no magic sunspot wand. I think you have one. You just may need to check the batteries in it. Over to SWL 13. And as my pages decide to refresh, I will be listening and checking in the other places where people might check in to make sure that I get everybody that wants to get checked in. SWL 14. From the big town of Easton, SWL 15. SWL 16. And let's see if the Carolina Kid is at the microphonium tonight. SWL 17.
17 checking in.
All right, Eric, you are sounding good into Midtown. We've got you checked in. Over.
Copy, thanks.
SWL 18. Got to check in for Mikey from the Facebook page. Over to SWL 19, and that would be the infamous 14047, otherwise known as SWL 19, somewhere near Derby, New York, right there in the front row position, down in the footlights, ready to help us out when things go wacky, but I think we're in good control tonight. Thanks, 19. And from the west side, SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Check me in and number 29 and 54, and I'll have a radio of interest later on.
Okay, a radio of interest is good. Yeah, I kind of like the new sound. It sounds like you're in a big auditorium ready to put on a show or something. Thanks, 20. And then over to SWL 21, Mr. JT from South Carolina, the Wasama Swamps, the world's longest ground rod, doing a good job tonight with Old Radio Night. Let me see if I've got, if I bring this up, good. Let me see if we can get a snippet, a replay of the Old Radio Night. If you don't check into DD21's Old Radio Night, you should. Let's see what was going on tonight.
Hello, Charlie Hustle. Charlie Hustle wants to break on the channel. He's on the internet.
All right, Charlie Hustle, and I think he's probably out listening for tonight over here. The Old Radio Night happens East Coast, or I guess it's East Coast time where you guys are, a couple hours earlier than the old Tube radio network. Running the Tram Titan 2 tonight. I like that. I'm gonna borrow the S meter off of that thing. I'm not. There you go. Trying to get some audio on that thing. But there it is. It was looking good. It was looking good and sounding good on the Old Radio Night tonight. Thanks, JT. We got you checked in. SWL 22. I'll need to go over my list. Looks like a lot of people tuning in tonight. We'll see who we've got here in just a moment. SWL 23. I know Mitch was out and about near the water tonight, so he'll probably be jumping in if I don't see him already. Let's go to SWL 24. Hey, right there, and the radio is trying to work. Joseph, hello.
Might be a dead battery.
Yeah, audio's a little weak, but I hear you fine. Sometimes you just got to use the Old Tube Radio Network to blow the dust off that thing. Sounding good, and we got you checked in. SWL 25.
So there's 25 checking in.
25 checking in and sounding good here into Midtown tonight. Thanks.
That's absolutely amazing because I did spend a lot of time in tuning, so and you might as well check in proxy in 74. Thanks, Dennis.
I will certainly do that. Sounding good. Turn the page. Before I do that, let me see who's out on the video side. Kind of coming up to Dwayne and Chrissy is in there. Charlie Hustle, we heard your audio, or at least we heard them talking about you, and you were out listening, watching on the YouTube from Baltimore From Baltimore, MA, as they say. Oh, a lot of people out there. Who else is on frequency tonight? DDX coming up to you. In Foreland, the Bravo Alpha Oscar is out there listening tonight. Paul, thank you, Paul. Paul's in at showtime. I should watch my comments, and I'll know when to fire this thing up. Smarty Jones from New York. Hello from the East Coast. And indeed. Over to the big page, up in the grandstands, we've got Spokane, Washington, in British Columbia, near Garibaldi, Dallas, Georgia, Squamish, BC, and the trio, or is it the foursome or the quintet? Somebody out there from BC is listening. Also, Dallas, Georgia, Seaside, California, Somerville, South Carolina. We know about that. Fayetteville, North Carolina, coming up to Kakalaki soon. Centerville, Virginia. Charlie is listening from Anoka. He was with us Wednesday night, listening into, or was it Friday night? No, it was Friday night, listening into the Ditchbanks net. Hello to Hubert, North Carolina, Redding, California. Hope the fires have subsided up there. I know the air quality was even worse than here in the Central Valley, which is actually nice. Went out and looked at the stars last night for the first time in weeks. Hello to Lawrence, not Lawrence, Kansas, but Lawrence, Maine, and a host of others here on the Gold Tube Radio Network. They're over to page 2. Looking for SWL 27. SWL 28, right there. Chrissy, I don't have a lot of green stuff when it comes to wardrobe. So I went back with the 70s look, but I have a feeling that indeed we will be getting some, like we often do, some green radios tonight. Thanks for checking in. And Chrissy is wearing her green sweatshirt, so it'll be a good match for any of your green radios tonight. We've got a proxy check-in for SWL 29. Also, in the RFI zone out of Idaho, we're getting a lot of our smoke blowing through. I think it's better. I think it's better out there. Dwayne also checking in. Let's go back up to 23. SWL 23. The 23s could do at the microphonium, kind of like sliding into third base, checking in. He couldn't find his bandana. Unfortunately, I found mine. I had to do something with my what do we call it? COVID hair tonight. But you've probably got one. I bet you've got one. So when you find it, put it on, grab your guitar, and we'll all sing Bob Dylan songs. Thanks, 23, for checking in. Let's head over to SWL 31. Did I see Tennessee in tonight? Not yet. Unless they are vacationing somewhere, I will keep an eye out for a word otherwise. SWL 32. SWL 33, myself and Boso Control, the Jingle Singers, Mr. Announcer, and all those who might wander by the OTR studios this evening. SWL 34, Jimmy Railroader, who will probably jump in at some point. He's on Chicago time, so I always am amazed at the stations that tune us in and stay up very late into early Sunday morning to check out the radios. Here's a guy who has no problem staying up for the Gold Tube Radio Network, because a lot of the radios that you hear on tonight are on the air thanks to this guy and his crew over at Red Monkey Communications. Mr. Bill checking in from cool Cheyenne, and it's going to get cooler, no doubt. Thanks, Bill, for checking in. SWL 36. SWL 37.
27 here, Dennis.
All right. I had a possible proxy for you, but no need, because you are live and direct. Sounding good.
Got home about 25 minutes ago.
All right, perfect. We got you checked in. Over.
Thank you.
SWL 38. SWL 39. And let me take a break here to say hello to Josh, who is tuning in again from Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. Also, Paul in South Arkansas checking in. And Arizona, another one of those A. You got to remember, there's A-Z, A-K-A-R, A-L. There's a lot of A's. You got to know the rules. From AZ, Magnum Red is also waving a hand to the Old Tube Radio Network. Little downtown, Fresno, SWL 40.
SWL 40 on the crossband.
All right, we'll get you on the crossband, KB6GFD. And from the crossband, SWL 40 checking in. And Road Dog must have the best internet connection. All I have to do is look at the screen, and he is right there when I need to say checking in. SWL 41, Worldwide Sidebander 507, Alpha Charlie 244, and a number that I can't read. The 507, yes, from Hudson Valley, New York. 41 is checked in. Thanks. Over to SWL 42. Got a note to check in proxy in 42, which I will. SWL 43. Let's see if it's working up to the hills tonight. SWL 44. Yeah, it's making it fine style into Midtown tonight. Thanks, Ray. Then we go up to, and I believe this is the guy that got us started off as 00, SWL 45.
Yeah, back again. 45, checking in.
All right, sounding good. Nice audio. Be interested to see what you've got on the radio table tonight, which we will do. Just a reminder that we will be checking in and talking to the classic tube radios. That is the Class D citizen radio service from 1950. It was September 11, 1958, when the FCC gave it the go. Until, well, it's still going, of course, but the tube radios pretty much ended their runs around 1978, and you will hear just about everything in that 20-year period tonight coming through your speaker or your video or maybe your radio. So stay tuned for that. Coming up after the roll call. SWL 46. Shortwave listener 47.
Good evening, OTR, and greetings from the Radio Lounge, SWL 47, where we got the fans going, and it's just spreading the smell of hot vacuum tubes lofting throughout the air. So it just makes me want to say that we definitely love the smell of vacuum tube radios in the morning. It smells like victory, or, well, that's 8:21 at night.
That is the odoriferous thing that you want coming out of your radio. There are other possible smells. It could be burning and exploding capacitors and things like that. But burning the dust off the tubes is the way it should be, and it sounds like you are good to go. We've got you checked in. SWL 48. And putting in a good signal earlier, I'll give it a try because I know he's having some receive issues, but I will get you checked in if you're listening on the stream, Brian, but can't hear me on the radio. SWL 49.
Number on the screen here online. Again, we have our weird interference issue tonight, and we are not able to copy you at all. And that is with our antenna being up at the 40-foot level now with a balun, and we're still having the issues. So, again, doing what we can, wishing everybody a good evening, and again, sorry if we're doubling or doing something weird here. So, thanks for the check-in, Dennis. Again, hope everyone's well.
Perfect transmission, great audio, and yeah, it is very frustrating when you get the weird receive thing going on. I remember, and it's probably on the archives from 3 or 4 years ago when I had the plasma transmitter blanking me out for 2 megahertz that would come on right at the end of the net, and it mysteriously went away after a couple of months. I actually tracked it down to a location a couple blocks away, but it was the plasma generator doing weird stuff. So hopefully maybe easy come, easy go on the noise, but good luck on DFing the QRN. Thanks for checking in, and good evening to to you and Sweet Country Mama. Let's head over to SWL 50. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
All right, sounds like he's sitting in the front row with that cool audio. SWL 51. Thanks, Dave. Somewhere near Sangertown. We got you checked in. SWL 52. And SWL 53. Switching over to page 3, if I can find it. Mitch mentioning that he sent the Jingle Singers a case of High Z Cola, but heard it was met with some resistance. Yeah, if you're gonna, I guess if you're gonna spill something on your tube radio, the High Z Cola might be the best way to do it. Right now, I think they're all enjoying some Nesbitt's lime soda out there. Or is it Bubble Up? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they got. Hello to heading north up the 99. Saying hello to Gary. And he's wondering if there's anything good in the green room tonight. I will have to see what the Ohio guys are going to do for us tonight. They haven't checked in to see what the newest updates in the green room tonight, but everybody is welcome. Shrimp kebabs, steak fillets, something like that. We'll see what's happening. There's always something good, and everyone is welcome. Gonna check in SWL 54. Larry on the cosmic check-in. Let me see if 55 is out and about. I know he is a busy guy these days, trying to get things in control. Hello, 55.
Hello, Dennis. 55 checking in, and hoping somebody can check me in on the sideband net for a couple more weeks. I don't have a sideband radio, but yeah, we will get up here out of the smoke so far. Nice.
All right, you are sounding good here on AM from location X. We will make sure you get in on the sideband net as well. Good luck in all the things, many things that you need to do. I've seen a couple of videos up there, and oh my gosh. So anyway, I'm glad you are able to keep a microphonium somewhere and keep going.
Yeah, thank you, Dennis. And if we could also talk to 65 if you can make it out here tonight.
All right, I'll get to Eric in as well, no problem.
Thank you, Dennis.
Over to SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. 56, just for kicks.
56 just for kicks. And will we hear Tram, the rig refreshing tonight? We might. You just never know. You've got to stay tuned for those tube radios. Thanks for checking in, Phil. Over to SWL 57. In my sights, the man, the myth, and the dog. Yes, indeed. Checking in from a brisk evening in the Hollerin', Kentucky. Mr. Brown Dog Audio, SWL 57. And I guess in the 11-meter world, they say he just got down, but he looks like he got up, and he is right where he needs to be. Thanks, Brown Dog. We got you checked in. Over to SWL 58. And we'll get Jeremy checked in, as he is probably away from the coiled microphonium cord, SWL 59. And SWL 60.
Thank you much, Sir Dennis, and evening time to all the SWLs out there, all the SWLs. SWL 60 checking in.
60 checking in. Sounding good doing it, as always, Joe. And 2901, somewhere around the QTH there, sounding good.
Thank you.
Continue on. DirectNet roll call. The tubes will be coming. GWD Labs, like the Optimod processor. I know I'm not going to talk about audio because unless you're an audio guy, it just gets totally boring. But what GWD is talking about is this unit right up here. Let me see if I can get the high frequency to show up there. The little blinking red light. The blinking red light is your noise, is your gate. And then if I say, there it is, do a little high frequency limiting on the 8182A. It's a dumpster. It's a dumpster diver from the television station when everything went digital and the analog stuff was out the window. And there's a stereo thing that goes with that I don't need. But for good old limited bandwidth AM audio, you can't beat Robert Orban. And in fact, let's see, we'll give a plug for, where are we going here? We'll give a plug for Mr. Orban if we go to this. There it is. And there is the Orban loudness meter, which you can download for free. Somewhere, probably just type in Orban loudness meter and look for that. But that's how we judge all the incoming stations coming in and set our audio to kind of get a uniform setting in the loudness, in the loudest meter. So thanks, GWD, for allowing me to talk audio for just a moment. Taking time out from the SWLs here. 60 is in. How about SWL 61?
61, checking in.
And the Copenhagen kid sounding good on AM. He sounds good on sideband on Friday nights. I mean, he just can't help but sounding good. Thanks, Dean. SWL 62. SWL 63. And that is Butterbean out of North Georgia. I will scroll through the things. I don't think I've seen him yet, so I'll put a hold on 63. Over to SWL 64. SWL 65. We've got a check-in for Eric Marshmallow. And back to the audio for just a minute, because GWD is out there. The newest piece I just got. Don't ask a guy to talk about his audio stuff. The newest piece I just got was a toss away from an AM radio station, and it is a piece that goes with an 8200 Optimod, which is an FM thing, but it's a cool thing. It's the Studio Chassis AGC that you use for sending your signal back up, I guess, from the transmitter to studio or TSL or STL. And I thought, this isn't going to do a thing. This has been a really great piece. It's the last thing in line on the audio chain. And you add just a little bit of AGC, and the thing will not let you overmodulate. I think the guys that are running those super seniors, the 160, 80, and 40 meter transmitters, that they always say you've got to have some type of processing with it, or it dumps the, I guess it's LDMOS or something, but if you overmodulate, it'll dump the transmitter out. This thing would be great, man. It is just brick wall, and it sounds great. It doesn't sound overcompressed or whatever. That is a great little addition that I just added, which is another Optimod piece that cost unusual amounts of money back in the day, and now people they just throw them in the trash. Where are we going? We're looking for SWL 66. And the break OTR, go ahead, over. Yeah. We'll make a note here. Make sure that Eric gets in on the AM and the SSB as well. No problem. Let's see, let me call again. SWL 66. SWL 67, and did I see way up there in the balcony, trying to shine the flashlight? You need new batteries, Bill. You need new batteries in that wimpy little pen light from Canby, Oregon. Bill is waving a hand to all of us down here in the Central Valley, where we used to hear him live and direct. I'm still waiting for the cycle to warm up a bit, and maybe when we get until November, December, when we get the E-skip, I bet Canby, Oregon is going to be hearing us, and maybe we'll be hearing Canby as well. Thanks, Bill. Over to SWL 68. SWL 69, another station that used to be right here in the Central Valley that listens in or tunes into the video from Tulsa, Oklahoma. SWL 69. Kenny, we'll get you checked in. I don't see you listening live, But anybody want to say hello to Ken when he listens in?
Hey, Kenny, give Marsha a kiss for me.
Hey, Kenny. 73s. Dennis out here in the tower waving a hand.
All right, and 360 in there as well. All right, Kenny, I hope you heard that, and he always leaves us a thumbs up when he checks in over on the YouTube side. Let's go over to SWL70. Wow, now my noise level is coming up. SWL71, Stan. I did see Stan on my other page, right at the top. Mr. Microphone and the RCA 44. I think I can get one of those here in the studio. I may try that one night. Maybe just borrow the RCA 44 so I can look like Stan there with them. I don't think I'll be able to use it. They are really sensitive ribbon microphones, and they don't do well with the type of air conditioning I have, which blows a lot of velocity of wind into the studio here. But we will see. I tried it long ago, and it didn't work very well. Let's go to SWL 72. That's Eric in Clovis. SWL 73. Getting a check-in for SWL 74, Miss Jilly. Actually, I'm also gonna check in SWL 73. John, I talked to him on 2 meters, and he had the magic key. I have in the works an old tube radio which will actually work for this particular frequency, and it needs a key. Believe it or not, it needs a key. And we were having trouble finding the key, and John had the key. And so we were able to open up the part that we needed to open up with that key. And so maybe good things will be happening here in the upcoming months, thanks to 73's key. 74 is checked in. Let's to SWL 75. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and hello to all the listeners. And 77 on the Tower of Power in the Tower District, checking in.
Sounding good as always from the Tower District. It has actually a couple of radio stations down there on Belmont. Might be one on Olive. One I work at's out on Washawn. And of course, the Tower of Power, putting them all to shame. Thanks, 77. SWL 78. SWL 79. I'm going to get Philip checked in. I think he comes in earlier than he forgets. He forgets that we're on the air. Anyway, Philip, if you're listening. DC, if you're listening, I got you checked in. SWL 80. All right, listen to that static. The static just came up. It was so nice and quiet. I've got the noise blanker in, but not a lot. I don't like to put it in a lot because it'll mess up the AM audio. Let's see. Before we go over to page 4, a check-in with the Bob and Steve show out of Ohio, beaconing into Midtown. Here we go. And someone asked what was happening in the green room tonight. Here we go. Bob and I got the nice men to help us this week. That's better than those men that aren't so nice. To carry in a new sauna and steam room, and they just made it through the double doors. I haven't checked. I haven't checked the epoxy paint around the double doors to see if there's any dings, but I will do that after the net. The Jingle Singers got the beanbag board games that say OTR in the holes. I like beanbag board games. We used to have them when I was in the Cub Scouts. To throw the beanbag through something, I don't know, through the dinosaur or whatever. Beanbag games are cool. I'm going to do that one for sure. I give that a go ahead. I'm gonna be in line for the beanbag game. And at the bar tonight, here we go. Who was asking? I think it was Gary. A fresh shrimp on ice with dip. Count me out on that one. Celery sticks with peanut butter, maybe. And it says, we need more fish food. I've probably got some fish food. If not, I will crush up some of the cat food, and the fish will never know the difference. Thanks to Bob and Steve, who are keeping us in the 21st century, keeping us like the most modern, up-to-date old tube radio show that is across the U.S. I know there's other old tube radio networks, but ours seems to have the edge, thanks to Bob and Steve. Top of page 4 on the roll call, the tube radio is coming up looking for SWL 81. I was just checking. Sometimes Steve Areno will sneak in, but I think he said that he was going to be out and away, and for me to make sure that I get him checked in, and I will do that. Then we've got SWL 82. You know, I'm going to make an adjustment here on the receiver. All right, I hope that doesn't mess up any incoming, but for the SWLs that are listening in, I just want to drive them nuts with the static that's coming in tonight. So SWL 82, SWL 84, and I'll get 84 and the gang proxied in. SWL 85, John and Reedley, I had a note somewhere to make sure that 85, proxy 85, all right. From DDX, I will do that. I actually heard Bob. Actually, Bob just fine, but he's got his like Smitty. He's got that noise level thing going on, and it just really messes things up for the incoming receive. SWL 86, 87, and 88. The Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl all checked in. SWL 89. And Ray saying Hawaii is starting to come in. Yeah, it's about that time. It is the gray line for Hawaii. So if you've got a good antenna, good altitude in the antenna, Hawaii will come in. We'll see. Well, maybe we'll get a mini grass check in. They're certainly welcome to check in. Got a proxy check in for SWL 90. Out to Madeira for SWL 92. SWL 93, as you heard at the top of the net tonight, Louis, if you're listening, we're checking you in officially now. And let's go to south of town, SWL 98. All right, I hear you. The first station that came in after I adjusted my RF gain, so I think I did okay here. You're sounding good. Oh, and there's 79 saying, can you check me in? Phil, we checked you in. Mr. DC, we got you checked in. Couldn't quite get to the radio, but I heard you earlier, so I knew you were out there live and direct, Phil. All right, 98 is in. 79 is in. Let's see if Mr. GZE 103, looking for Jeff. And I'm getting him checked in from a Facebook check-in over to SWL 110. SWL 111. Bob also called me on 2 meters, and I was behind the racks, and I couldn't get to the microphonium in time. So he's definitely getting checked in between AM and FM. So if you're listening, Robert, you are checked in. Then we are going to SWL 113. SWL 114.
114 checking in, and can you proxy in the 2 ditch banks of Biola, 58 and 82?
Yeah, I will do that. They were both absent. I know Ron did a bang-up job on the ditch bank's sideband net, and so with that, let me give a plug out for what happens here on, and I say here, that's in the Central Valley, here on Saturday, no, tonight's Saturday night, on Friday nights. Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, 36 lower, that's 27,365. The Ditch Banks sideband net starts at 8 p.m. Tune up your radios wherever you are. We have had DX check-ins for that. When I'm around, I try and stream that. Charlie joined us Friday night and listened in, so everyone is welcome, and that happens Fridays at 8 p.m. Pacific Time, channel 36 lower here in the Central Valley of California. And you will often hear SWL 58 Jeremy or SWL 82 Ron at the net microphonium.
Thank you for the 3 check-ins, Dennis.
All right, thank you, Wayne. I got to click the button here to make you official, and there it goes. Boy, once I get all the streaming things going, it slows down the whole works, but it's there. Let's try SWL 128. I'm pretty sure I saw John in Fairfax, Virginia on my other screen as we scroll down. And yes, indeed, checking in. Wildfire smoke has made it all the way to the East Coast. I heard that. I heard that Denver was getting it and everywhere else. It was pretty messed up here. And I'll just put it that. And where we are here in the Central Valley down was not even in the fire zone, not even in the bad spot, but it was, like I said, I saw stars last night in the sky for the first time in 2 weeks. Wildfire smoke has made it to the East Coast. Our temps for the last days, 70s in the days and 40s at the night. We are still in the mid-80s, 90s, but it's cooling off at night. We got that kind of nice weather, September, early October. It could be good. And it is. Thanks, John, for checking in. Over to SWL 131. And now it's too quiet. Hope it didn't turn things down too far. SWL 133. 133 is checking in. Hey, Dave, we've got you checked in, otherwise known as the Delta Echo Foxtrot. Sounding good. Over to SWL 135. SWL 137. I've got a proxy for 137, and someone told me to proxy in 135, so I will do that as well. SWL 145, Tony, and I will pause. I don't think he's out there, but he left a note saying that he was kind of trying to get away from the smoke and all the calamity that is up near where he is, since it was in a different location. So if you're listening, Tony, and you can't get back to me, I will get you checked in over. With an X in the square. And he changed his call, and I have not updated my list, and I will do that. I think I'll look you up in QRZ, and I should be able to reference your old call to get the new one in. And here's another guy. He's not in 6 land, but he's got a 6 call, because I think when he got the KG6, he was actually here somewhere near the Central Valley, and that is Neil from Kakalaki. I know he was saying something somewhere. I am scrolling up and down. Which page? There he is. He's on the other. You're on the other chart. 47 Kakalaki checking in. Weather cooling off, as we just heard from 128. Feeling more like autumn. Radios are ice cold. I haven't had conditions for a couple of weeks. Yeah, now is when I'm starting to hear stuff on the amateur bands, and I wish I had my antennas up. 40 meters is really good this afternoon. 73s from Dr. Jazz in the Carolina Sandhills. Thank you, Neil. Over to, let's see if, another Coarse Gold station. Let's see if Jim is hanging out in Coarse Gold. Hello, 195. All right, we've got you. Hopefully it's not too much calamity there. The smoke is subsiding a little bit. Still a lot of, people displaced and animals and things, but you're sounding good, and we're glad you're checking in. Okay, well, the Cal Fire doing a good job. The fire's still going. I don't even think we're at 50% containment. They're sort of kind of pushing it up towards the rocks near Yosemite where there's nothing to burn. And 226, where did I see, Jeffrey, I see you checking in from Mariposa. I actually heard you. If you can hear me, if you're listening, I heard you on sideband on Friday night. So I know you can make it down here, and that's with my my wimpy pipsqueak too low antenna. So I'm thinking if I when I get the thing up in the pine tree at 90 feet, I might hear you on YAM. Be able to give it a try. Let me see who else is out there who is trying to check in, but they're saying if that net control would just stop talking.
Yeah, this is 103 checking in.
Hey, all right. It's Easy 103. I will put the X in the square, and I don't know if I missed you earlier, but you're sounding great now. Over.
You.
All right, thanks for checking in. Anybody else? Hey, there's 34. Let me get to Jimmy checking in. Staying up late for the old Tube Radio Network, Mr. Railroader. Oh, do I have the picture? Let me see. Let me switch over to... No, that wasn't that one. Oh, yeah, okay, here it is. Let me see. I don't think this is gonna... Is this gonna play well? Oh, man, I guess I had the better... There, oh, there it is. All right, here we go. If we go to that camera, and we go to this camera... There it is. There is 34 checking in, looking good here on the old Tube Radio Network tonight. Thanks, 34. Also, wait. All right, I can't find the foot switch. The brake OTR. Go ahead. Over. All right, sounding good, 650. I think I turned my RF gain down too much to get rid of the static and squelching out the other station. But you're sounding good here into Midtown Fresno tonight. Thanks for checking in. All right, good deal. I know we've been listening to the reports from Cal Fire and very, very strategic, and how they do things is amazing, to say the least, considering what the heck they are doing. So thanks for checking in. Let's see, also checking in on X4000, check in. Not from turkeys, but from outer space. All right, X4000 is somewhere. Maybe he's beaconing in on the IHSS on the downlink. I don't know if you're on the uplink or the downlink. There, X4000. Well, we got you checked in. Also, from Rocky Mountain, Virginia, Keith is back in from Foreland, Sierra Radio. It's just the last couple of weeks, but working weekends. I know about that working weekends. So glad you are making it out late night tonight. Anybody else that wants to check in before we look for some radios tonight? All right, good. Give me a moment. I'm going to run around like I always do to get things set up for the Tube radios. Hey, there's Warren from Hendersonville, Tennessee, waving a hand. I knew we had to get somebody from Hendersonville in here. Also waiting for Robert and Teresa. Thanks, Warren. We'll be back in a moment with your Tube radios on the old Tube Radio Network. Okay, now we got it. You got to press the right button. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Hey there, hi there, ho there. It looks like we haven't blown anything up yet. All the stuff seems to be working. There's a nice, as you can hear, there's a nice audience in the green room tonight awaiting your radio selections, your tube radio selections here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Why have we been doing this for 35 years? Because, well, it's a thing to do. It's the Saturday night thing to do, and we all have a good time. Don't we? Yeah, I think so. OTR standing by listening for any tube radios.
45.
All right, we've got one heard at 8:55 Pacific Daylight Time. Hello, Paul. Boy, I don't know why my noise level has come up a whole bunch, but you are, I think, making it just fine. So do what you do best, and we'll see what you've got for us today. Over. Okay, looking through the Old Tube radio Rolodex, where we often have information about many radios and hopefully about the radio that you have. I believe you said it's a T-Craft Falcon Mark V. I have found something. Looks like it even has the tag still on it. Okay, that's the Mark. Are you running the Mark V? I have just this picture of the straight Falcon, but I wonder if that's any different.
As far as mine and Mark V or this Mark V, they look the same practically, but the inside is different.
All right, I was just checking to see if I have different ones. Now that's the Falcon. That's totally different.
Yeah, okay. Hopefully that was my next. That's the old one. That's the 1959 there. Back to you.
Yeah, let me go back to the T-Craft Falcon Mark V, which definitely looks a bit newer. You know what it reminds me of with the dual channel selectors is, who made it? It was like an Olsen spotter or Olsen sidebander. There it is, the T-Craft Falcon Mark V radio phone. Original price $169.95. That's not bad for what appears to be a 23, let's see, it's a 5-channel. It says 1 or 5 crystal controlled channels. And the receive has the tunable receiver, or you could go crystal controlled as well. Over. Okay, I could use a good noise suppressor right now. Looking for a year of manufacture on this. I don't see it. It says the power can be 6 or 12 volt DC or 115 volt AC, so it would run mobile. So it probably had a mounting bracket that you could put on it somewhere. The audio is good. Like I said, your signal is not real. It's definitely not full quieting in here tonight, but it's got some great audio to it. That's why I'm thinking it might be a clone of the Olsen spotters, the sidebanders, which also had that really nice audio. Over.
Full crystal control radio on the thing as far as transmit and receive on the thing.
All right. I don't know if I have, again, the specific... I'm not finding the specific model, the version, I should say, that you've got there, but I think this is a good representation. You seem to be hearing me okay. I notice it has an RF gain control, which was very unusual for the early radios, but I think actually is a really handy thing to have. It is saving me tonight for sure. Our first radio tonight, a T-Craft Falcon Mark V, various model, probably a later model of the Mark V, but it's doing a good job here tonight. Over.
That's right. Yeah, it does work on the thing very well. A lot of, it's excellent. And also, what's up there? It's the top of West Test Factory. I love that. But you can't make a mistake with it all put on a switch like that. Thanks for checking it in, Dennis.
Okay, it's got the receive channel, the transmit channel. Might be a little bit more confusing when you got the two dials like that, but once you get everything set up on the same channel you are on or receiving, you are good to go. Adjust your squelch on the RF gain, and things are nice. I'm looking, I don't see, okay, the microphone, are you still there, Paul? Does the microphone plug into the side? I don't see any microphone jack on the front, so it must plug into the side or the back. Over.
Actually, it's plugged into the side. And it's kind of extended on the thing. It's unbelievable. These guys have something with the microphones that next radio you'll find it's kind of interesting. So anyway, thank you then.
All right. Doing a good job. Thanks for getting us started off. Always with something interesting, and in this case, something very rare. I don't see that sometimes we have information about the radios or whatever, but I don't see we have that. It's called the T-Craft Falcon Mark V. And it's from Paul's collection. Top of the hour, before we go to our next radio, I want to, let's see, we're going to go over to the Jingle Singers doing the top of the hour thing, and we will be right back with your glow-in-the-dark radios from your old tube radio network. Oh, the Jingle Singers are gone. Where did those Jingle Singers go? Let's try one more time. And no one is there. Did I break the Orban? I don't know. Something broke. All right, we won't do the Jingle Singers. I think they're ignoring me as usual. Let's go back around and we'll say we're looking for radio number 2. Yeah, I may have to send them somewhere to go lay down. Let me. I see them. You know what? I see them trying to work in. I'm gonna do one more fancy thing here. I think it's something personal. I think they just don't like me. Yeah, we got a bad connection. We got a bad connection on the Jingle Singers. Anyway, we'll get it worked out. Looking for Radio 2.
The Old Tube Radio Network. Station for you is OTR.
That's what happens when all your equipment is old. You know, I think what's happening tonight is everyone is just enjoying the fact that the air is nice and they don't have to stay inside. They can go outside and breathe. So I say more power to you. If you're outside enjoying it, stay out there. Yeah, they want hamburgers instead of that. What was it? Shrimp stuff? I don't know. That may be a little too fancy. And then there's the celery with the peanut butter. That's probably what did it, Dwayne. And Chris, you are right. The other Falcon, I definitely saw some green on that. And GWD, don't break the Orban. It's actually working. The Orban is the thing that has not failed in all this time, believe it or not. But then you would think at the price those things cost when they're brand new, right?
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
Yeah, what's failing is the Behringer audio board. It's a German technology made in China. I believe it was Delta. I believe it was a model Delta. I'm thinking the one we showed was probably the Model B on the Falcon Mark V. And Mitch reporting from the archive files, 4 models, A through D. Maybe the one we were showing was an A. But I think Paul said that he was actually on the D model. Hey, there he is again. Hello, Paul. We'll catch you here in the second hour of OTR and say hello, radio. We were just discussing your Falcon Mark V, and as you mentioned, they actually made 4 models, A, B, C, and D. So we're just trying to figure out which one we were showing, which I think is the A, but I think you said you were on the D. Hello, anyway, go ahead with your new radio. Over.
Yeah, okay, this is the other Falcon. A T-Class Falcon Mark. Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on just a minute. Hey, my T-Class Falcon. There it is.
All right, the T-Craft Falcon. This is what we were talking about. Let me go straight to, let me go up here. All right, one I showed earlier. Looks like it might have a little green. We'll get a little bit closer. I see blue. This is definitely working. Take a transmission. Over.
Okay, this is my 1959, year 1959, so it's not near the radio in the 62, but it's not. Take it over. Back to you.
It is working. I'm going to say the signal strength is probably like the other Mark V, but I think the audio is a little weaker on this, but I still hear you just fine. From 1959, so this is their first venture, and probably a lot of first ventures in that first year of Class D 11-meter radio from 1959. T-Craft Falcon has 11 tubes, 5-channel crystal control with 23-channel VFO receive. You can see the big rotary dial there on the left as your receiver. And it also has, all right, you'll have to talk to us about this. It also has a compartment for the microphone. Over.
That's correct. That's what this microphone system is saying. It's a standard size mic, believe it or not. Well, not a big mic. The standard size microphone on the thing. I think the name of it is, yeah, it's a Turner microphone. But anyway, this thing, Turner's Rabbit stock microphone. That's it. That came with a thing. Okay. Get myself confused here. Got front power speaker on the thing. It's a long radio for a little radio, for a small radio. It's 13 inches wide, 5 inches high, and 10 inches deep. It weighs 12 pounds. It's a well-built heavy-duty radio. There's a lot of information on the thing. It's just neat. It's really old, 1959, and the mic is a little bad. Just the original mic I believe is a little white microphone on there. It's ASP all the pieces. But it's working. Back to you.
It's working. This picture shows, let me get a close-up. Oh, I want to see those. Here we go. That's what we're looking at. Why are we still seeing the Nixie tubes? I was trying to get the microphone there. It's off to the side, but it has a compartment. I'm thinking this radio would also go mobile, although I don't see that it would go 12 or 6 volts. But it has a little box, a little door you open up, and you can wrap the microphone and stick it in there. So maybe that was something good for if you were running the thing mobile. You could not have the microphone dangling down or keep it out of the sun. And then we've got an info on the T-Craft, the Mark V that you have. I guess the D model, the last model, actually had some type of a tone squelch on it. I don't know if you had that on your Falcon Mark V. But you sound good on this one. I'm going to say the audio just quite isn't as loud, but the signal is about the same. Over.
Okay, good. I saw the name of it, right? 350 feet ceramic corner mark on it. So you know that's a little lower. So that's fitting in that thing. And it's right beside the VFO, where you adjust the VFO on the left-hand side. That thing slides back, and then you've got probably I don't know how big the area there is. It's big enough to put the microphone and a short cord in there. The short cord I got all stretched out now. The real cords are a lot thinner. I don't try to get one of those to put in here, but I kind of hate to mess with the thing. It's back to that thing. Anyway, that's about it, Dennis. Thank you.
Okay, the earlier Falcon, T-Craft Falcon, we're looking from 1959. Kind of an interesting, this is the radio without putting your hand up there or something. It's fairly big radio, so it has room on the left-hand side to store the microphone. It is 11 tubes. So they got 11 tubes stuffed in there. And it is 23-channel receive with the 5-channel transmit. Doing a good job here through my noise tonight for radio number 2. And some names we don't often hear or associate with radio at all. T-Craft and the Falcon. Sort of like the early days of automobiles, back in the 1920s and prior to that, there were a lot of automobile manufacturers. It just wasn't 3 or 4, but as things started moving along and the Depression came in, all those manufacturers and auto companies sort of went by the wayside. And the same thing happened with CB radios. 1959, 60, 61, a lot of manufacturers coming out trying to jump on the Class D citizen radio service bandwagon. But as we know, only a few survived. And even then, it was maybe 1 or 2 chassis that was being built or used for everybody else. But it's kind of fun looking at all the names and things that happened 60 or so years ago. Thank you, Paul, for the T-Craft.
Yeah, thank you. Check it in. Now, the frame of this thing's first playing. I thought I'd go through it. Set of 12, volume, transmit, off, crystals, or 5. I don't have stuff about 5 crystals to these guys. And got that great old toggle switch up there at the top. See up there. The base blue, very nice color blue, and it goes kind of an off-white color. So that's about it. Back to you, Jay.
All right, doing good. And you said you've got the Turner microphone on it. Mitch is saying it did come with ceramic, supplied ceramic. I was going to say it didn't sound like a carbon microphone. It's got a little bit more high-end punch to it that way. So good deal on the Falcon T-Craft. Thanks for bringing that by, and we are standing by here at OTR.
60.
And standing by no longer at 9:15. Let's log in. Hello, Joe. Log in 60 for radio number 3. Over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yes, we'd like to check in our 11 tube. This is a Robin 123B. With all the bells and whistles, a lot of little doodads around it. And not just only a 23 channel, 23 channels, but a few extras. From channel 1 to 10, there's extra channels in here, so it goes as high as 35. And we're on a stock, a powered D104 Lollipop.
Nice audio. Nice, clear, crystal clean audio. Yeah, definitely that microphone gives a little bit more flavor, if you will, AM flavor, than the supplied hand microphonium. And you've got everything adjusted great. I don't hear excessive room noise or your voice echoing off the wall. Sounds like you are just right here in the air chair, beaconing out. The Robin T123. Be sure to be a hit with some of our SWLs, as it does have lots of green on that one.
Oh, plenty of green. Front, side, back, top. Yeah, and little green on the dials. The lights are not that bright. All of them work. You got your external speaker light, you got your modulation light, TX light, and a lot of little doodads in the back, including meter adjustment, tune and load plate. But doggone it, for the 3 watts, I guess that's what we're getting out of it. I'd like to someday maybe get back there and do the old tune and plate job, but we're a little scared of that yet. But anyway, we're on this Lollipop here, and that's about it there, Dennis.
Sounds good. Yeah, you could probably do it. Be good to have a decent watt meter. Yes, you could do it with a dummy load light bulb. But it's like an amp, you tune and load, and I don't know if they suggest if you once you do that for max power that you, what do they do in the amp? You back the load off a little bit. And there's probably something in the Sam's photo fax that says, here's how to do this the right way. Or, the radio will do 6 to 7 watts. However, your audio ain't going to sound too good. So you back it down. Make it sound good. Sometimes, you're losing 3/4 or half a watt or a watt. But if it's going to make the audio sound good, we sort of proved that with the general radio telephones. When you strap the things out at 3 times the power, you lose the audio punch. And if you're just listening to it, not looking at the meter, it doesn't sound as good, even though it's got more power. But what I'm seeing and hearing for the Robin T123B, I think you've got everything in order here on our Radio 3. It also has an RF gain, which, again, I think is a good thing. I know some of the other Panasonic chassis, which that is, did not incorporate the RF gain. This radio, manufactured from 1972 to 1976, would also go 12-volt DC for your mobiling pleasure, and a full complement of 11 tubes with the infamous 12AX7 in the modulator mic preamp. Back to you.
Well, thank you much on that info. Yeah, it has this RF gain, it's fine-tuned, and your squelch button, which I can pull, make you a little bit more bassier, or go back to regular sounding. A pretty nice speaker on this one, too. In colorful little dial for your 23 channels. It looks like it'd have been a lot of fun to run back in the day. But like I say, the lights are not as bright as they should be. I'd like to see a little bit more glow on the lights, but in time we'll get around to kind of fixing that up. But anyway, I want to thank you for letting me check it in, Dennis.
Okay, sounds good. I guess there's a way to do that. Sometimes you can put in a lesser voltage lamp. The only thing is they won't last as long, assuming they're incandescent. Could be the positioning, too, where it's positioned in the chassis. If it's closer to the edge of the colored overlay. Could be dust, too. You might be able to get in there with a Q-tip. I'm assuming it's just an incandescent and they've got the colored overlay. So it could be dust, just some dust in the little colored cup there. You never know. Well, you've got control of one of them. The mod light you can make a little bit louder. And I think you've done that with that microphone. Radio number 3, the Robin T123B. It sounds good, and it's one of the Panasonic chassis. And Mitch asking the question, and we've answered this before long ago. how many Panasonic chassis rigs were there in total across all brands. And I don't know if it was different between the 23 version and the Channel 40 version, but this is the 23 channel version. I kind of remember that we thought there were 5. We had them written down. I would actually have to think, which is hard for me to do when I'm trying to talk. And anyway, Joe, thanks for bringing us Radio 3.
Thank you, Dennis. Doggone, it's a pleasure. Love this little radio. Okay, we'll let the old channel rock.
And you are definitely getting some applause from our SWLs on the YouTube video that are very partial to green radios. And this is our first, I guess, official one tonight that we could say definitely a green radio.
Okay, thank you.
And Mitch just shot me down. All right, so it shows you what the OTR guy knows. Absolutely nothing. Hello, Paul. We hear you at OTR Control. Over. All right, going to the Rolodex under the LMNOP. So let's go to Polytronics. And we're going to Polycom. I believe you said N as in Nancy. Over.
That's correct.
All right, trying to bring up the video here. Let's see what I can do. There we go. All right, I think I've got it. Looks like we're going in the wrong direction for channels anyway. We went from 5 channels, and this looks like it's possibly 4 channels. Over.
Yeah, I've been there somewhere, I think. I got one of my radios in there. So I know you'll find it. But that's 4 channels. I was an 8 channel. That's you.
Oh, okay. You know what? I rolled by that. I think we can fix this. There's a Polycom N with a designation of 8 channel. This other one was an N, and there we go. Now we're cooking. Over.
You got it. That's correct. Yeah, they do a lot of these with different channel selections to do it. Up 2, 4, 8, 12. My guys will have different radios with different selections in the thing. Really looking how they do it. Super nice radio. Panasonic is really a good outfit. I've been to real heavy duty extra radio. The microphone on this thing is one of those real heavy things you use for a club or something. I don't know. It's bypass, just flat chloroform. Real heavy. Zinc alloy. Such as I have. I've never heard of one thing like that's what it is. It's very rare about you.
Yeah, it's just in the barely end of my picture here for that, and I was going to say it looks like something out of a barber shop or something. Looks like a pair of hair clippers. There you go. It's the Polytronics Polycom N. There is a large red, I'll call it a light button or something at the top. I'm not sure what that does. If that just lets you know the radio is on, or if it blinks at you when you talk. Has an ANL. Your noise limiter, is it just a switch on off, or is it actual variable? Can you rotate that thing? Tell me about the ANL. Over.
Yeah, it's variable. You can cut it way down. It works too. That light is just to tell the radio is on, the big light. Down below that, it looks like just about all of the crystals. Let you be able to, every time the stuff is going down. There's a little light there. That's the flashing light now. That's the modulation light. It's a clear light on this radio anyway. That's the way.
All right, great. I see the 8 channels. We're going to do a frequency check. I'm hearing a thing that sounds like you might be off of the center frequency a little bit. So next transmission, we'll get you zero beated in and see what happens. Maybe the radio's drifting a bit. Another cool thing I like is it has on the front panel a little area. It looks like you can actually write in with pencil or a magic marker, or what was in the day, those Dymo label makers, your call sign and unit number. And that is an important thing, because that's what Class D was supposed to be. It was your call sign and a unit number, and in theory, you were to be talking with stations' unit numbers under your call sign. It wasn't made for chatting to your neighbors or having what they just call idle chit chat or conversations like that. It was really made for family communication or business communication. So that way you could look down and say, this is KEO 8492 Unit 4. Go ahead. I noticed yours doesn't have any markings on it, which is pretty good. And so let's go back. I like the variable ANL. I think that's a cool feature. And then when you take a transmission, I'm going to find where you are at on frequency. Over.
This radio was the first one to have the dishes in here. Glad to put on the dishes tube in here. It makes it so accuracy really looks good. So that's glad. This is such a radio back to you.
All right, boy. This is what I wish we had an SDR video play on this, because it would look pretty cool. All right, I'm confirming what I heard the first time. When you first key down. Or is it key up? When you first key up the transmitter, you are right on frequency. You are right on frequency. And then something happens and the radio jumps about a kc and a half high up to about 86 and a half. And that's what I was hearing. It was enough for me to hear that in my AM passband. And then when I tune up to that, you sound good. And then it slowly starts drifting back down. So as an SWL, you're keeping us on our toes as we kind of follow you around at Channel 11. But it's working great, and that's why we like these old radios. Over.
Never know. I didn't know it did it, because that's what I was sitting up about just my meter on the thing. But you never know about what's happening to it. I'm sure the crystals vary quite a bit and everything else on the thing. Was I on frequency?
It's kind of like clockwork. You key up. When you key up, you are right on frequency, and in about 20 seconds or 10 seconds into the transmission, the frequency you're transmitting on jumps up about a kc and a half, and then slowly starts coming back down. But you can actually hear it. It changes your how you sound frequency-wise, and then it's okay. So, like I said, I'm having fun following you around here.
Let's talk on this one. Let's go off. I don't watch it on my frequency pilot. I'm trying to have it up for a while. I just checked it on the frequency pilot for just, not a whole long time, and it's on that I'm real happy. So, apparently, if I'm something happening on the radio, it's no problem, but it's something that makes me kind of a... Try to check it over and stuff like that.
All right, thanks for bringing it by. That would be our Radio 4 tonight. The Polycom N. There was a Polycom N, which is a 4-channel. That's the one we had shown first. And the one Paul is on tonight is the Polycom N 8-channel. Doing a good job here on the old tube radio network. Jimmy's saying that he's seen a Polycom with an add-on that was a 23-channel selector that plugged into the back of the radio with an octo plug. Sometimes I have a reverse shot or a rear shot of the radio, and I do not. Let me see if I have any other information on the Polycom 8. Similar to the Polycom N, but has 8 channels. All right, so this is... If I can keep the transmitter going here, this is the deluxe model. The Old Tube Radio Network, real radios glowing in the dark. My name is Dennis, your net control operator for this evening, and let's head over to the jingle singers who will often give us a little impetus to check in even more radios. Now, of course, they're not... Where did they go? They're not paying attention to me at all. Trying to find them. All right. Now they are looking. They have to look through the window, and I have to wave to them, and now they're ready to go.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, the friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we were looking for radio number 5.
Break 1-1.
The break 1-1, go ahead, over.
Hi, Dennis. 7-0, requesting a late check-in, please.
I can help you out with that. I just happen to have the SWL thingity list in front of me here. I have the home game. And if you have the home game, it should look a lot like this. And then we go find SWL 7. You know, that I really got a kick out of that photo from 1987 where I'm sitting on the desk with paper, just like this. 33 years ago, doing the same thing. You would think somehow we would figure out how to get this into the 21st century, but of course this is the Old Tube Radio Network. Mark, I have you checked in if you can hear me, over.
Oh, yeah, I can hear you fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm still kind of a paper guy. I mean, I can do all the spreadsheets and all that stuff, and it's convenient, but for a lot of things, paper's still best. Anyhow, thanks very much, man.
All right, thanks for jumping into the Radio Shack on a Saturday evening and saying hello to all the tube radio operators and net control and a lot of SWLs out there tonight listening in. And I see Jimmy was saying they made a 4-channel and a 6-channel, and we had the 8-channel. I was looking in my radio archive list, at least on the pictures that I have, and I don't see that I have the 6-channel, but I've got the 4 and the 8 on my picture list here. Oh, actually, I do. I do see the 6. Let me see if I have a picture of that. Yeah, yes. Wow, that's a whole different thing. Let me. Oh no, Polycom 6. Okay, you know what the Polycom 6 is showing? It's a 6-meter radio. Because notice the dial. Let me get up to extreme close-up here. 50. Receive in VFO. 50 megacycles. So the Polycom 6. And that's from Pat, is the 6-meter radio. Very interesting. So obviously that's going to be probably more than 5 watts. Certainly a lot more fancy with controls. One heck of a dinky little speaker, though, on that radio. I guess they thought that if they put too many knobs, you know, that's an amateur radio. Maybe they figured they put too many knobs on the Class D radio, it would scare people away, or it's supposed to be, you know, more simple. You really weren't supposed to be technically inclined. That was, they figured if you used your DAT, you would go into the amateur thing. But that would have been cool to incorporate all that on one of the on the 11-meter rigs. The Old Tube Radio Network looking for Radio 5. A lot of people are probably, frequency, are out enjoying the fact that you can see the moon and the stars out here tonight. Smoke has subsided somewhat, at least down here on the valley floor. The weather is nice. So it may be one of those nights where the radio room doesn't rate top-notch tonight. Yeah, Chrissy, that's true. I noticed it has headphones. Maybe they figure a lot of the ops are going to be wearing those ear-pinching ceramic headphones, so the speaker's just kind of an afterthought. And like you said, you just turn it up. Yeah, I think as usual, the Brownings are sort of are roosting. I had a big owl in the eucalyptus tree here the other day, and the thing just looked like a big cat, just sit there roosting the whole day. I think that's where the Eagles are tonight. They're just getting ready to swoop down here. That sounded very eagle-ish. Yeah, you almost sound like Skipland with all that room echo there. Go ahead.
Yeah, let me cover my hand over the mic there. That might help a bit. Okay, number 20. On a Browning R2700 receiver and S9 transmitter.
I'm looking to see if I have a duo like that. I think I have either or. So let me go a T2700. So let me see if I have an R2700. So is that the radio that was easier to cart over to the new location?
Actually, I carted a whole bunch because I have to, but this was the easiest to get to. This was easier to get to, and I had a microphone that plugged in. I've got a gold D104 amplified, one of the gold ones there. Anyway, this transmitter R2700, the front Browning 11-meter receiver, and the S9 from the reading I've done is the first transmitter. But the transmitter was a little expensive, and a lot of people had already gotten a receiver and they were running it with other transmitters, but they wanted to use the Browning, but apparently the S9 was a little expensive. It had 6 channels, on-the-air modulation light, a Fox switch, 3-meter position switch, voltage, current, and modulation. So they came out with 2 other smaller the T2700 and T2700F.
All right, good deal. Well, you've saved face. There was chatter that we had gone almost through the net without having a Browning transmitter receiver combination tonight, which we now have. Showing the S9 transmitter. I was under the impression that the S9 transmitter was not 23 channels. The one I'm showing here is 23 channels, and it has this very, I guess it's a chicken head style selector with the very extended pointer to reach up around to the channel selectors. I don't know. Is there any way you can get closer to the microphone? It's almost like you are in a big auditorium or something. Yeah, it looks like it. The shot is not really good focus, but I see a 23 over the top of the S9, and I did have a Rolodex here that actually does say 23 S9. Let me do that one. Maybe it's the same picture. Sometimes they do that. Okay, no, it is. It looks the same. This is the one from Paul, which is a much better shot. So, see, now I have one and the one I says S9. Okay, so they're actually mislabeled. So you've solved the mystery there. That helps a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to come in there with, like the old radio days. We'll put up some mattresses and wrap you in a blanket. That's what we had to do with Everett. He would get that Browning, and it was just so much audio and so much echo in that room. We physically kind of wrapped himself up in a blanket to try and deaden the noise. But I can hear you fine. So what you just did is it definitely helps out. That could get scary. You need more radios. Turn on more radios and it'll light up. You probably told me, but as usual, I was probably not listening very well. What microphonium are you running? I'm thinking it's not the banana mic, but something different, right?
Roger. It's a Golden Eagle D104 with the eagle on the back. Old thing came out, Bicentennial Mike, whatever it was, the Golden Eagle. I had moved all the microphones out of as many as I could grab, out of the old place where they were, like in the garage, etc., where they would have the heat, and I put them all in the house. So get this, I have air conditioning, and it's cool in here, and I can walk from one room to the other. Oh, how about that? I haven't been able to do that in years. Anyway, So it was available. It had the right plug on it. It works. In fact, I don't even know how old the battery is. Probably at least 10 or so years old.
Gosh, that's new for a battery. As long as it's not leaking. Well, that's good. Air-conditioned Radio Shack. Is that possible? We might be hearing more of Harvey on Saturday nights here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And I say, I was just reading one of the comments. Let's see. One said that the banana microphone might help with the echo, or eliminating a little bit of the echo. And then Mitch says that, Harvey, if you want to know what your audio sounds like, you know how it sounds when you go through the drive-thru at McDonald's and they're talking back to you?
Anybody want a Big Mac? Anyway, yeah, I can tell. Anytime I just walk in here and just start talking out loud, I can tell there's an echo. Now, if I go into my bedroom, which is pretty much everything's in there, it just doesn't sound that way. But if I have to hang a blanket on the wall, I'll do it. But anyway, I'm kind of happy I finally have a place that, I could not either freeze in the winter or burn up in the summer. Plus, I did go into the other room and listen on the stream. Now, I can bring my laptop in here with no problem, listen to the stream, except I've been in, at the old place, I've listened to the stream on my phone, and it's really annoying being like 10, 15 seconds behind you on the radio.
Well, I think part of that is it's not the delay that's annoying. It's basically me. So if we get rid of me, you probably wouldn't mind the delay. You sound great. I am looking forward to and encouraged by the fact that the W6OTR Radio Shack is in the making. It is heated and air conditioned so that you will have more radio transmission pleasure, not only for your amateur stuff, but for the Old Tube Radio stuff. And me thinks that perhaps a different radio, not like a Browning, would probably not sound as echoey, but this one sounds great. And we are glad to have you as a radio number 5 tonight and the first Browning on the list over.
What a screech. Yeah, I still have the top to the receiver and the transmitter off. And because of that, and my antenna and watt meter in line, I have to turn down the audio in the radio, otherwise I get feedback. So I'm watching the meter on the radio, and it's bouncing when I'm not talking. So I don't know if there's a little bit of feedback in there or not. Okay. I'll turn it back to you. I appreciate you letting me talk so long, and at the new place to be at Browning.
All right, there's no feedback. It's just you're in a very live room. I don't know if you have anything going on in the background. It's kind of hard for me to hear. And again, thanks for taking the extra effort to get something set up in that shack. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have heard you at all tonight. But like I say, it's encouraging that you've got a good radio shack coming up, because we are going to have a great Solar Cycle 25 if indeed it ever does get started. The Radio 5, the Browning R27 S9, probably, as you mentioned, close to, if not the first offering from Browning Laboratories, I'm going to say back in 1959 or 1960. And you described this to me earlier, but one of our SWLs has asked, Harvey's a little bit closer, I think, in his new location. Not a lot to me. He's still way across town. But if take a transmission in 25 words or more, because I think this is actually a good answer to a good question. Dwayne is asking, what antenna are you running at the new place, at least temporarily? Over. It's working surprisingly well. I'm going to say your signal is about the same as you normally would come in at the other location, maybe an S unit lower. I think usually when you're not running the Harvey range boost, you're about an S8. But your signal to noise and your copy abilities is about the same for what I'll call barefoot radio. And, Dwayne's saying he's done the same thing in the past, and it works quite well as it's working for you. I remember when I first got my Starduster, I did that. I stuck it over the cooler to keep it from blowing away on the other house, and it works pretty good. So that's the main thing. As long as you can get outside, get a little bit of elevation, like you said, it's a good antenna, and that sounds like you're not running a big, we don't have a 200 feet of coax coiled up somewhere. You're just making a nice short one. All right, let you go back to what you was doing, and you promised us a radio, and you came through with that promise, and we're looking forward with more items in the Radio Shack to come up. All right, I haven't wired, I've had plans on maybe wiring the 2-meter into the audio board so we could do crossband check-ins and do Echolink stuff, and it's just a very large project that's probably not going to get done until I reconfigure everything here. So, give it a blast. I've got the audio is turned up. I talked to, who is it? Larry checked in on the crossband. So if I hear you, if you're breaking the squelch, I'll hear you. I may hear you just noise, but I'll know it's you. And I think, but my antenna is pretty low, so we'll see what happens. HT might be a little bit of a push for our distance. The Old Tube Radio Network, not quite ready to count them out yet. Time to get your Old Tube Radio checked in if you would like, or perhaps you're just stopping by to check in on the SWL side. We can do that. We'll be out and listening, and we are looking for radio number 6. And I barely heard you break my squelch. I think that's you, KB6GFD. Yeah, I bet if I went outside and readjusted my antenna, I might hear you, but it's. I can tell you're there, but we will not be able to have a conversation. KB6GFD, back to the other microphonium. So he's there, but a little too far out for my wimpy station. Just here's what you do: put the element that's smaller in front of. Okay, here's what you want. You want to send your signal basically east, because everybody you talk to is going to be the east. So set your 11 meter as far west as you can on the cooler or on the air conditioner, whatever it is, and then your other antenna, which I believe will be a smaller element, set that to the east to make it like a beam. It might give it a little beam effect, and do it that way. And I bet you it'll work. And if you can get your antenna outdoor for the HT, it should work great as long as you don't have the giant, massive coax run. There's probably a window that works best in the area there. It might not be the one in the shack, so a good deal. All right, I'm glad you got it set up there, and all is well. Looking for radio number 6. It's about time for sign off, but we'll take another radio if we can. Refreshing the comments here. Hello to Oakland, California, tuning in. And Penticton, British Columbia also. And John, what do you think, Stardust or Penetrator? I originally had a big stick long ago, and I had a Starduster before that. And then when I put up stuff here, I had the IMAX 2000, and it broke in the wind. And I still had my old Starduster, and I put that up. It's not up very high. I'm actually very amazed at how well it works. It actually is better than the IMAX 2000 in RF, coming back into the shack and things of that nature. And I'm very seriously thinking about actually getting, when I put my old little small or my other mounting situation back up, maybe getting an SBT 500 instead of because the Starduster being the half wave or the quarter wave up and down isn't going to really mount the way I need it to. So the SPT might be the way to go, but I am, again, it's hard to beat a Stardust. I know it's just a quarter wave, but if you mount it right, you get a good signal out of it. And it may not be as good as the 0.64, the 5/8 probably, but for what I've got, it does well. Counting and mounting, we're listening here for your check-ins before we sign out tonight. Well, I mentioned a couple of them. I mentioned the Starduster. I mentioned the Penetrator, but I'm going to call it the SPT 500. I think that's what we're referring to there. What else did I talk about? A Big Stick. That's the one I used to have originally on the 70-foot tower, but it was above all my amateur stuff, so it had a nice ground plane over. Can you hear me now? Over.
Well, with 500 watts and a subwoofer, I guess.
Yeah, a Sierra Papa Tango 500.
I think while I'm down for a while, I will turn this radio over and take this blasted pin cap out, put something else in. It's too much. Okay, yeah, I'm looking it up. Not bad looking.
Yeah, it's your standard thing, and I think it's been around, at least in that form, for quite a while. I don't know if the new ones are constructed as well as the ones 40 years ago. And my guess is you're probably giving yourself a headache in that big empty room with the volume turned up every time you key that microphonium.
Well, we don't have any of the dogs over here yet, but my daughter brought over one, and he's like, what's that noise? What's that noise? So I let him in the room, keyed it up a couple of times, and he got used to it and just went away. But at first he was going, what the heck is that?
Well, speaking about what the heck was that, the Jingle Singers are pointing at the clock, and they want to do what they always do about this time, and I say that's okay.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel.
Well, we have a bad connection to the studio. Oh, man. Well, that's okay. We're gonna ask them to do that again. It may or may not work. There is definitely a bad connection. I can see I'll be crawling on my hands and knees down the hallway to the green room to figure this one out. Here we go.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
Almost. Stay with us and be modern. The Old Tube Radio Network, counting and amounting.
Hey, Dennis, count while I talk to you.
I'm counting.
One thing funny about the air conditioner, when it's on, I get a little buzzing interference, starting, let's say, at channel 1, about every 2 or so channels. It goes away, then comes back, so it buzzes, and then goes away, buzzes, goes away. And when I got to channel 11, it was kind of quiet until just about the RC channel, and then it's in there. So I lucked out. I do have interference, but it doesn't bother anybody.
Well, that's good. Trying to figure out what Brian's interference is over where he's at that comes on about this time. I wonder if they're doing something like that where they got some motor thing running. Who knows? All right, back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm noticing my S meter it's crooked. just one of the many things that's falling apart around here. Oh, it's a question asking about the microphone. Let me sign off here, and maybe if we stay on a little while, we'll talk about microphones and stuff. So that I'll try this. It may not work. Jingle Singers, where's Mr. Announcer? Yeah, give it a shot. Do the fanfare here. May work. Might not work.
OTR totals.
I'm not sure where the bad connection is. This is strange. I'm not sure where that bad connection. I don't know if it's a cable or it's the audio board or who knows. Who knows if I could be doing wacky stuff here. All right, it'll be a quick sign off because, like I said, everybody is enjoying the fresh air and the fact that you can see the stars and they're all outside. And I say that's where you should be. 54 SWL check-ins tonight, 12 on page 1, 15 on page 2, 16 on page 3, and 21 on page 4. We are halfway through this 8-week roster on your old Tuber radio network. 5 radio check-ins tonight, so thanks to those who actually did take time and get some radios in. And let's see, the most heard manufacturer. Now, this is good. The most heard manufacturer tonight was the T-Craft. Yes. The T-Craft, of which we had 2 Falcons. Starting off, radio number 1 was the Falcon Mark V. I believe Model D is what Harvey said that was, even though we were showing a Model A, I think. Radio number 2 is the T-Craft Falcon from 1959, the 4-channel. Was it 5? No, it was 5-channel. Let's see. Then the Robin T-123B was Radio 3. That was from Joe. Radio 4 from Paul was the Polycom N and the 8-channel. And then the Browning R2700 S9 combination. Trying to see if I can figure a tube complement. We had 23, 20, 43, and 14. So we had 57 tubes total from my calculations here. So not too bad. I mean, I guess if we get one radio, it is worth hanging on the frequency here tonight. So what else can I tell you? The Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio is glowing in the dark. We will be here next week, I think. Don't forget, on Wednesdays, there is the net that's on 10 meters. Anybody's welcome to that. The Central Valley net at 28,445 upper sideband. Listen in from afar if you can. See if you can hear us out there if conditions are on. Friday nights, of course, on 36 lower, 27,365, the Ditch Banks sideband net starting at 8 p.m. The Wednesday nights also starts at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And then, of course, the Saturday night place to be here at the Old Tube Radio Network. 73, everybody, thanks to SearchLawrence.com and Frodex for the Nixie tubes. I'm going to go find the guitar and strum out a Phil Oakes tune or something in this garb, and we will catch you all next time on your Old Tube Radio Network. And I would try some more audio stuff, which I really wanted to do, but the fact that I have an issue, and I'm not sure exactly where it is, we could have minutes and minutes of dentists trying to fool with cables and slide controls and things of that nature. So the Orban, the Orban is still working good. I know Robert Orban will be happy to hear that. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, Dennis.
And somebody asked about the microphone. A style, I'll call it a professional style microphone like this can be used on your radio. You just have to have the proper connector from the 3-pin. Heil actually makes connectors that go from the 3-pin to the 8-pin and the 4-pin for the old Yaesus and the Kenwoods and all that. And typically you shouldn't need to amplify it. It would probably be nice if your radio had a mic gain built in. I'm, of course, running through a preamplifier to amplify the microphone into a line amp so I can run through all the audio garbage. And then it has to step back down to a mic level with the little iBox here so that the radio will be happy. So kind of making it big and then making it small again and piping it in. And with 3 kilohertz wide sideband and 6 kilohertz wide AM, sometimes it could be a bit overkill. You can find yourself probably a $10 or $15 microphone and do the same thing. Might be good, and it would depend. It depends on your voice, depends what you want to do. The advantage of this is just the fact that you can run it through stuff and do a little equalization and compression. It makes things easier, and depending on the radio, it sometimes makes it sound a whole lot better. All right. With that said, I will say good night once again on your Old Tube Radio Network. Yeah, Ray, I did not hear Hawaii ever come up in my receiver, so it must have been a super low-level little gray line thingy. Okay, all right, quick. Let's see what's happening. Let's see if the AM guys are on 75 tonight. It's noisy up there. There's a carrier at 3880. That's probably the East Coast guys. But I'm not going to be able to hear their audio.
Make things better also, but somebody said something about your antenna being the launch pad. If you don't have a good launch pad, you're not going to have a good launch. So if you have a good antenna up there and it's up high, you're going to have a lot of fun with it.
3860, sounding good. All right, 3840. Here's the cacophony at 3840. I think they could do better. Come on, guys. You're amateur radio operators. You can jam better than that. There's some contests going on, too.
Bravo to 6 Alpha, promoting the Alpha. Houston 6 Alpha, promoting the Alpha into Washington State.
That's some Washington thing. I know we're calling from Washington. 3835.
Houston to Washington State, speak to someone, Washington. Bravo to 6 Alpha, promoting the Alpha. Houston 6 Alpha, promoting the Alpha into Washington State.
I think he did a recording for the CQ, but it actually needs to record it without the talking plosives. That's 80, 75 meters. Not too bad. Up to 40, quick 40 meters. I don't expect to hear much. Not on the Starduster, anyway. No DX guys. How about some CW guys? There's all the digital guys at 7070. No CW? Come on. There we go. No, I think that's a broadcast station. $7015. Something's going on. Sounds like a contest, huh? Yeah, they're giving 599s. Must be some type of contest. All right. That seems to be it.
Exactly noticeable, then that's what I would go by, because by the time I...
Yeah, there's somebody at 7180.
See, that's why it's interesting how, just, two different antennas that more or less performs the same. Because you got to remember, our wires are inverted V, it's not quite horizontal, right? So at the same time, at the same token...
Talking about antennas. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk you'd hear somebody talking about antennas on the amateur radio band on a Saturday evening? All right. Well, I'm going to go to bed and dream about antennas. Oh, yeah, the 435. Oh, my gosh. It used to be W6NUT, the 435 repeater. I used to tune that in just to have something to listen to when I'm driving to LA, but sometimes it would be good, sometimes it wouldn't be so good. All right, good night, Ray. And Dwayne, I agree. I would love to find an older SPT.
Hello? Hello? Testing? Testing? Hello? Hello? Let's see here. We can turn up the power here. This is K6VLF.
And the clandestine 75 meter frequency here.
Yes, for special operators like me.
3630, is that even a phone band?
Yes, it is, well, recently, but 10 years ago, no, it wasn't.
I was going to say, 3630, I'm old school. 3630 sounds like it was the CW portion, but I know they kind of got rid of the novice end and all that, so, all right. 3630 right there, our own little channel here.
Oh, yes. Where only the lowest people operate.
All right, I'm gonna turn this thing off here, and Chrissy says she likes my shirt even if it's not green. It doesn't matter. Someone gave me this shirt 30 years ago. So, what the heck? but it fits. You know, it was too old then. Perfect tonight. Good night, everybody. The Old Tube Radio Network hitting the end stream button, which I should have done long ago.
And this is K630S.
Yeah, there it is, 3630, the secret frequency.